G'day folks, here's 10 of my favourite live videos. G'day folks, Jeff here, welcome back to the channel. Today we're having a look at some of my favourite live videos. Now when I say live videos, I mean full length videos, not just video clips. Maybe that's one for another. I've got to have some fun with that, I think. Good old Immortal, they've got several that be... Anyway, I digress. So yeah, this is live gigs pretty much. I really enjoy these. Some of these I've owned for many decades. I just see them as really good sort of snapshots. Whether it's a band in their early days that sound a lot different these days, or I kind of like the reverse as well, where it's a band that's still going, playing old songs but slightly different ways as well. That can work as well. There's a lot of people out there that don't really like live recordings, so these don't seem as popular as they used to be. Well, I mean, I think a lot of the legacy bands are still doing them. Like, you still can probably buy a shitload of Metallica Blu-rays and so on, but yeah, they don't seem as popular. Like, as far as newer bands goes, I mean, Blood Incantation I think has got a couple, but other than that, I can't really think of that many. I'm sure there are that I'm just missing. So, and part of what I want to do with this is get you fine folks to tell me what I should be checking out as well, because I haven't bought that many of late. So yeah, feel free to give me some suggestions in the comments below. They don't really get plugged very much, live videos, so there's probably plenty that I've missed over the years. So yeah, get suggesting. I was going to rank these, but it's kind of hard. Like, some of these I've had for 30 years sort of thing. So they're not easy to rank, because they've sort of wormed their way in, really. So I think that I'll save the best, my favourite one, for last. But other than that, these are sort of ranked. And I do plan on doing another video here, because 10 is really not enough. I've got way more than 10. But I tell you what, some of these are bloody long. It takes a while to watch through these again. Like, I don't watch these all that often. I don't think I have a DVD player in my study here, but I do in the lounge room, of course. But poor missus doesn't want to watch 5 hours of Autopsy shitty old live recordings. So yeah, although she's had to put up with it the last couple of weeks, poor thing. So yeah, I will do another video of this. This probably is the top 10 of the lot, but there's plenty of other really good ones to discuss. Anyway, let's get into it. Alright, first off the curb is Carcass with their Wake Up and Smell the Carcass video. Yeah, I decided after getting in trouble for my Gorgorind video, maybe I won't show that proper cover, so yeah, let's put that down. So yeah, this is a live DVD. It's got like 2 gigs, one from 1992, one from 89, and 5 film clips. But there's also the CD version of it, which is totally different. It's just like a best of and all sorts of unreleased tracks, demo tracks from like Swan Song era, I think, plus really old crusty songs from the Pathological compilation. So slightly odd like that, but at any rate, we're here to talk about the DVD. So yeah, this has got 2 gigs. The first one that you can watch is the God's Grind tour, so 1992. This is a gig in London. This is also the same gig that Entombed were filmed for their Monkey Puss video, and also Cathedral for their God Has Landed, or whatever it's called, which I've since realised I don't bloody own, so I'm a bit peeved about that. Might have to track that one down. So yeah, this is pro shot. It's pretty well shot. There's some weird editing choices in this. I don't know what the hell's going on there. I don't know if maybe they lost the final cut or something. This one's got like bits where there's like a second of test pattern, or like the edit missed a spot, and it's like, what are you guys doing? Did you watch this before you publish this? At any rate, and yeah, the camera work's a bit average. I mean, it's Carcass. They're playing mostly necroticism songs. There's a couple of songs off symphonies, but yeah, it's pretty much all necroticism. It's great. Bill still does the deep vocals, which is really cool. So, and yeah, this is like Michael Amott era. So, although I was kind of wondering if he'd had a few shots before they started. It kind of looks a bit staggery at first, like he's just stumbling around on stage. I don't know. He's the sort of Yannick Gers running around quite a bit sort of thing. But and yeah, for some reason they don't show Bill very often. It's really kind of frustrating. They've also got that. I did wonder if maybe they've maybe the video camera on his side was broken or footage was crap or something. I don't know, but they also have that irritating thing that always drives me crazy in live videos where there's someone doing a solo and they cut to the other guitarist playing the rhythm. It's like, yeah, I mean, I'm not a guitarist. I don't really need to see it, but it's like, I don't really need to see him just playing chords. Show the solo. So yeah, there's a lack of Bill, which if you're a Bill fan is kind of irritating, but I mean, you can hear him. He sounds fine. The sound is actually really quite good on this. That's probably the winner gig as far as the sound goes. There's like barely any crowd shots, which I think is a shame. That's one thing I really love about live videos is when they show the crowd going off as well. And this one, yeah, I think you see it like about twice when they slight pan that includes a huge crowd. So it's a waste, I think. I'm really pleased that they do Tools of the Trade on it because I love that song and it doesn't get enough love, I don't think. So yeah, it's pretty much most of necroticism. You get what do you get? Exhumed to Consume, Ruptured Impurulence, and Recapitulation from Symphonies. So still bloody good, damn good lineup. So it's really good to see the necroticism songs live. I didn't actually get to see these guys live. They toured on Heartwork back in the very end of '93, but I missed it because I was just about to go to America and couldn't, for like 2 months or something. So I couldn't quite justify going to Melbourne for that. So I believe they, I think they had the Venom guitarist, Mickey D or whatever his name was, and they pretty much only played songs off, I think, Heartwork and maybe Necroticism. So, yeah, I don't know if I missed out too much, but the supports are really good, so I'm spewing about that. But I did eventually see them, years later, the Reformation version, and they kick ass live. They still do. Ever get the chance to do it. The other live gig is Grind Crusher Tour. So yeah, that previous one was the God's Grind Tour, which was Carcass, Entombed, Confessor, and Cathedral. But yeah, the Grind Crusher Tour was even better. It was like Morbid Angel, Bolt Thrower, Napalm, and Carcass. So 1989. Oh Jesus. First place with a time machine. Yeah. So yeah, this is at Nottingham Rock City, which I think I do actually have other versions of like sets from this. So they obviously filmed them all. There's a Bolt Thrower one, which I haven't actually watched for ages, but I seem to recall it's kind of shit quality. There's a Morbid Angel one, which is pretty bloody excellent. That'll definitely be in the next video, not this one. And yeah, there's definitely a Napalm one as well, which we'll get to later. So yeah, this is Symphonies era. It's just a 3-piece. It's just Bill, Jeff, and Ken. And one thing I forgot to mention about the previous one of these, the Gods of Grind one, is that I love Ken's enthusiasm on drums. He's just so into it. He's loving it. It's great. But yeah, this one is pretty much all symphony songs. Nothing newer. There's not even really anything off Reek. There's General Grinder 2, which is like the redone version that was on the Pathological compilation that's also on this CD compilation as well. So it's just an extended version of General Grinder. So it's almost Reek, but I don't know. You can tell they don't like Reek very much. They never play bloody anything off it except maybe General Grinder if you're lucky. So even though the songs are like 40 seconds, it'd be easy to play. So pretty much all symphonies, which I ain't complaining about whatsoever. The sound is not quite as good. It does get noticeably better partway through the first song, General Grinder. So I don't know what happened there, but this is a DVD, so it shouldn't be. It's not like it's an old videotape getting wobbly and stuff. So, for some reason they got this huge backdrop that I would have assumed would have had, like in the past, I think they used to, project up on the screen, horrible, gory, medical procedures, all sorts of stuff just to shock. But there's nothing on this. Maybe they knew they were filming and they thought, maybe we shouldn't put some, corpse shots up on film, but it just looks kind of weird. You can see a bolt thrower, like, huge backdrop in the background, and then poor Ken's, like, sitting behind the thing, so you can barely see him. It's odd. One of the best things about it, though, is Jeff's got 2 mics. Like, Bill Steers singing his growly bits just by himself, but Jeff's got a clear mic and then a pitch-shifted mic, both on the same stand. It's so awesome. And, of course, he talks to the crowd through the pitch shifter one, which is just hilarious. You can see Bill laughing his ass off at it. So yeah, all the songs rule, of course. I think what is it? Empathological. What does that say? Necroticism. Sorry, that's definitely one of my favourites because I think Psychrist used to cover that live and always love that one. Poor Ken's pedal comes off in the middle of which one is it? Embryonic necropsy and devourment. So that sounds kind of weird when that happens, but I thought he just stuffed up and was kept trying to play it, but no, apparently his pedal was stuffed up. So it's really good to see that era because I don't know, it's not something. I was kind of surprised that was on there as well. So I was very happy to see that era because yeah, you don't get huge amount of that live these days. I mean, sure they got a batch of new albums they've got to play songs off as well, but one day I'm praying one day to get a symphonies in its entirety tour. Not holding my breath, but you never know. You never know. So yeah, that gig rules as well. Like it's not as slickly filmed, but it also some of the problem with the other one is it's a bit too slick at times, a bit too flashy, weird editing that just doesn't really work. So this one's a lot straighter. It's just about 3 cameras. And yeah, great quality. Of the film clips, yeah, they're mostly shit, really. You get 5 clips. You get Heartwork, which is slick as hell. It's one where they're in like a foundry or blacksmiths or something or other. I don't know. I think they're working to build the cover Geiger sculpture for Heartwork, and so it's just them looking kind of like they've had too much hair conditioner and. What's his name? Jeff's got this pretentious looking, Paul McCartney style bass that's just, nah. Don't like that one. Corporal Jigsaw Quandary, I was like, oh, I don't remember that film clip. And yeah, I can see why. It's just the song, the normal studio song with live footage of that song from the same 1992 gig on here, but edited even more flashy and ridiculously, yeah, looks terrible. Keep on Rotting in the Free World's just sort of like, shitty live footage from a lot of different gigs and a bit of sort of on the road kind of stuff, so it's a waste of time. No Love Lost is like another slick, expensive looking one. Obviously when they were on Columbia or whatever, a bit of money was probably put into that, but it's just too much Jeff. Some Ken, and doesn't appear to even have Bill in it. I don't know. there's way too much like fading in and out of focus that just it's trying to look stylish and yeah, it doesn't work. The only really good clip on here, which I'm sure you'll know what it is Incarnated Solvent Abuse, which, yeah, I've seen 1 billion times. They used to show it on Rage all the time. I had a video of it for a long time. And yeah, that's awesomely ridiculous film clip. Like, it's the one where he's like in a rubber sheet, like just yelling at the camera, covered in I don't know what's going on. And Ken's like rubbing like rubber kind of thing over his head, and like it's got Michael Amott with like zombie looking makeup on it. I don't even think Bill's even in it. I'm not sure. Maybe I thought maybe he's the one under the rubber thing, but I'm pretty sure you can see Jeff Walker's like dreadlocks sticking out of that occasionally. So maybe Bill just didn't show up that day. Maybe he's like, I'm not being in your stupid film clip. So, but I think out of all the bodgy earache ones, and there's a lot of bodgy earache ones, that's actually one of the better ones, I reckon. I mean, it's ridiculously over the top, but it's kind of fun for that. So, yeah, it's about the only film clip worthwhile on it, I think. So overall, this video, bloody excellent. You get as with a lot of these. You get pretty minimal. Actually, this one has a slight sort of history of Carcass a bit, which is not the end of the world. It's better than a batch of these, that's for sure. So, not too shabby, but yeah, it's I don't think you're buying it for the liner notes, but no, this is definitely worth it if you can track this down. Again, like a lot of these, I don't think have been re-released on Blu-ray. Some of these I've only got on video, so like you can barely get it on DVD. So it's a shame. I mean, they're all filmed. I mean, all the older stuff on here is like 30 years old, so it ain't going to be, 4K, that's for sure. So I wouldn't hold your breath to ever get that on Blu-ray, but DVD, definitely worth it. All right, up next is My Dying Bride, who have 4 live releases. You're keen. First up is just the CD of The Voice of the Wretched. This is from 2001. Cinemorata is a live DVD from 2003. No to Woe is a live CD and DVD from 2007, I think. But my favourite one that I've chosen is From Darkest Eyes. This is live in Krakow in 1996. So this is a sort of Angel on the Dark River tour. So plenty of songs off that, and also Turn Loose the Swans, of course. So bloody great selection. This one. I haven't. This one also has like just like film clips on it as well. But I mean, this is a videotape. So yeah, I have a video player that I think functions. I tested out a couple of live boots that I had of like The Kill and Fuck I'm Dead that I sent to King Bean, excellent label, and bloke who films a lot of gigs. So I sent him some videos for him to digitize and put on his channel, and so I had to test them on my VCR, and it was like a bit wonky sounding. So I don't really want to play this. So I have recently noticed that Peaceville's reissued this on like CD and DVD. I think record maybe as well. So I might track the DVD version of this down because it's bloody good. So the track listing you get on this, this is from 1st of March 96. You get A Sea to Suffer In, The Songless Bird, Crown of Sympathy, Thrash of Naked Limbs, Cry of Mankind, Your River, Black Voyage, Your Shameful Heaven, From Darkest Skies, and then The Forever People, which is the only old song on there, and friggin' rules. So yeah, this is a venue that a heap of gigs were filmed at. I've got a batch. I think this Anathema one was filmed the same night, no less. But there's also I think that legendary Gorgoroth one where they got like naked people on crucifixes was filmed there. Tiamat, Hate, Carpathian Forest, which I also own, was filmed there. Katatonia, one of theirs. Paul Diano and Vader, I believe. So I think it's like I don't know if it's a TV studio or something, but they do pretty good jobs, I think. I've got some concerns with some of them. This one is actually really good quality as far as the filming techniques and so on. Some of the other ones are trying to get a bit art house and wanky, and it just doesn't really work. But this one, I love it. It's probably the first peak of their career, I think. They've got several areas where they're pretty friggin' legendary. Like, I think it's what is it? Probably that Voice of the Wretched one's probably around the other good era, I think, for me. But yeah, this one just rules. It's pretty much the original lineup. So they got Martin on keyboards and violin, which is always kind of weird seeing a metal violinist on stage headbanging away like a maniac. But he sounds really good on it. Like, the sound quality is excellent. So that's one of the big winners for me. I love they do pretty good, reasonable batch of songs as well. Like, it's good to see the Thrash of Naked Limbs, and they kind of slow the main riff, which sounds killer. The crowd are really getting into it, and that's one of the things I like about these ones filmed in Poland. They always show the crowd a lot just going berserk, which is kind of weird on like My Dying Bride songs where it's like brief bit of fast and then it's like slow, so you see them jumping around like maniacs, and then it's like, oh shit, what are we going to do now? But yeah, the old song The Forever People just sounds tough as hell. Like, his vocals, I mean, I don't think he ever lost his growls. I have seen My Dying Bride the once in 2014 at MDF, and he sounded bloody killer. I don't know how much more you're going to be seeing of My Dying Bride live. Maybe not with Aaron singing. I don't know. There seem to be some issues going on there at the moment, so it's kind of sad to see, because I was kind of hoping one day they might tour Australia, as most Australian metal fans would also be hoping. But yeah, this one, just really good quality. As I said, the film clips I haven't watched, so I can't even. All I can remember is the Symphonaire one, which is just shit. Another one that they used to show on Rage all the time, and thankfully it's only like the 5.5 minute version of it. I mean, it's a great song, don't get me wrong, I love the bloody song, but the film clip, yeah, not the best. But yeah, this one, just top notch. They're really getting into it, and as I said, like, Martin sounds really good. Like, the violin stuff just fits perfectly. I mean, it always has fit, but it's kind of one of those things that you could see sounding a bit shit live, but it doesn't on this. And his keyboards are really good, especially on From Darkest Skies, which again is my favourite song probably off Angel in the Black River or Dark River. So yeah, the only thing it doesn't have is like anything off the album after, like Gods of the Sun, which I really like. There is the film clip of For You, which I'm pretty sure is the single off that. So yeah, this, as I said, you can get it now on CD and DVD, so I would recommend this one because, yeah, bloody excellent. All right, up next is Autopsy, one of my favourite bands. So, yeah, they've got 2 videos, so let's do them both. What the hell? So, yeah, first up we've got Dark Crusades. This one, this one came out first, 2006 it seems. So, before they'd gotten back together, I think. So, yeah, this has got 4 different things on it. It's got a rehearsal from 1988, a gig from LA from 93, a gig from San Fran from 93, and then the final gig that they played also in San Fran in 1994, plus some extras of them sticking around being idiots. So, yeah, it's a good combination of stuff, actually. Like, it has most of their eras, sort of, obviously not the newer stuff, but, so yeah, the rehearsal is just, that's with Ken Soravi, one of their earlier bass players, and no Danny either, so it's pre-Danny because it's 1988, so he joined for the second demo. It's pretty good quality, actually, for a handheld camera and filmed in someone's lounge room, obviously. You can see, like, Ken's kids and his girlfriend in the background. No, like, you know, sound muffling or anything, so those poor buggers are probably deaf as hell, but, hey, they got Autopsy to thank for it. So, yeah, it's pretty good, actually. It's surprisingly good. I mean, obviously, it's really quite old songs. They're not mucking around too much. So the Hong Kong Cafe stuff is just a California gig. What do you get about 39 minutes? It's pretty good, actually. It's pretty damn raw, but the vocals are just brutal on it. And Chris is like covered in blood right at the start of it, so I'm assuming it was fake blood, maybe. Who knows? And I mean, I think it starts with actually the Unspeakable song, Your Rotting Face, which is good. I love that song, so I was happy with that. Plus, it's got Torn from the Womb, which is one of my all-time favourites. That's a winner. There's also several songs from Shit Fun, even though it's like 2 years before that album came out. So I guess they had already written them. I'm pretty sure I've got old bootlegs of them playing Fiend for Blood well before that came out as well. So the Stone one, yeah, I don't think I wrote any notes on that one. Pretty good quality. It is only like 13 minutes, so can't remember that one. But the final gig at Ruthless Inn, I'm not sure if that's supposed to be Ruthie's. Probably not. That probably would have finished long before 1994. So, yeah, this is their final gig that they played with Sadist supporting, I think. Final gig before they reformed, obviously. It looks pretty messy. The crowd are definitely into it. There's a roaring sort of response to them, which is good. Some random people jumping up on stage, yelling into the mic and stuff. So, yeah, this is, I think most of the live ones are with Freewell, whatever his name is, the bass player that they had towards the end that was also in Abscess. He actually does backing vocals as well. I didn't quite realise. It's kind of good. So, yeah, it's their final gig, so it's pretty messy, I think. In the doco on the other video, Eric mentions that he was a bit peeved that the final gig they finally got a really good crowd response. So I was like, oh shit, whoops. And that, as you see on this, they actually get cut off early after really not playing that long. So I don't know if maybe they started late or something. Maybe the club was just like, nope. But they continue playing and play another couple of survival songs and then finish with the song Dead, which is quite fitting. So I don't think you get a brief sort of write-up sort of thing, nothing super amazing, and a good old thrash collage. Can't go wrong. Cool cover art by, I think that's Dennis Dredd, I'm thinking. So, yeah, you also get a bit of amusing, I mean, the sound quality on that's pretty good. The camera moves around quite a lot. It's only one camera. It's all one camera for all these things, so it does move around a bit, so you get differing sort of sounds occasionally. It's kind of nice when he's right behind Chris. You can see just how berserk he goes. Especially on, I think it's one of the very last songs that he plays is the Severed one, which I think at the time they say this is the last song, and you can just see him just going hard. It's great. So yeah, it also has some extras, has some amusing tour footage that Danny shot, I think, on various tours, including them doing snow bongs. So it seems to be a huge bong filled up with snow instead of water. And also, like, when they're on tour in Europe with Boltthrower and Pestilence, there's like Carl eating a flower and, yeah, other hijinks of young metalheads. There's also a bit of footage of Chris playing guitar for some reason for, I assume it was during Pestilence's set, or maybe, yeah, I suppose it was, because it's sort of like half of Pestilence and him. It seems Mamelli on drums for some reason, and their drummer on bass. So playing a Terrorizer song, I think, After World Obliteration, I think. So yeah, Chris is playing guitar on that. And then there's a song of, I think it's from the Stone gig of Chris's side project, or Chris and Danny's side project, Doomed, which is pretty much this. I think it's Freeway on drums, Danny and Chris on guitar, and Eric on bass, and then a mate of theirs whose name I can never remember, this Finnish mate of theirs, that on vocals. And yeah, they do one song like Doomed are pretty good actually. They got like 2 EPs that they put out that are really pretty cool. I mean, it's just sludgy, doomy, horribly sort of stuff with some fast bits as well, but just with non-Chris vocals obviously because he's only playing guitar. But yeah, they do the song Witches, which rules, and there's like shaving cream everywhere. It's just good messy fun. So that's that one. But I mean, it's a bloody good video. But the one I'm going to choose is Born Undead. This is a more recent one that they came out in 2012 or something or other. So yeah, this has got their whole set from Maryland Death Fest in 2010, which is the first time I saw Autopsy, and pretty much the main reason I went back to MDF just to see them. So that's why it's kind of the winner on this, even though it's not the greatest quality. But yeah, but because that was a very special gig for me, yeah, I was very happy to get that one. This one also has some bonus footage from like rehearsals from MDF, a couple of songs from Partisan and Hole in the Sky, and also Slaughter on By the Water. So 3 other sort of festivals they did around the same time. Plus, it's got like a live, a history of horror, which I was sitting there watching on DVD for the first time in ages, thinking, I've watched this recently. What the hell? And then I realised I watched it on it's on YouTube. So yeah, it's like an hour and a half or something long documentary on them, which is really quite interesting. It's good stuff. So it's interviews with the band, probably in about 2011. The sound is a bit average at times in their interviews, but yeah, it's just them going through the whole history, including Chris talking about being in death and all that sort of stuff, so Scream Bloody Gore and so on. So it's just really interesting. It's got a whole lot of different little clips of them being idiots, and yeah, it's not exactly HD quality, but it's definitely worth seeing. It includes a bit of footage of Abscess, but it's really good quality, so I kind of hope one day that might get released as an Abscess DVD, but Chris is messy as hell. He's doing vocals for a song or two, but he's so drunk, it's hilarious. Lying on stage, getting booted by Danny, it's gold. But yeah, the MDF footage is very nicely done. It's I can't actually see myself in the crowd. I know where I'm standing, mainly because I have seen one photo from above that I think was Return to the Pit posted, of like the whole crowd watching Autopsy, because it was they played an outdoor stage at MDF in 2010 at the front of Sonar. And I remember where I was standing, so I could actually pinpoint where I was from my mate John, who I was standing next to, who's like, 6'6" or something ridiculous, a tall lad who had a nice white sort of trucker hat on, which made it very obvious. Plus, I think from the overhead shot, I could see my bald spot. I'm like, I think that's me. Whoops. But on the video, I see John briefly, but there's, I'm not tall enough to be seen behind the, people in the front of the camera, so put it that way. So yeah, it's the whole gig from that. which is damn fine setup. I mean, they headlined one of the nights, so they played for like an hour and a half, whatever. There's a heap of songs on here. I think my favourite songs on here are probably Ridden with Disease. I don't know, for some reason, I mean, that's a great bloody song, but I mean, most of the songs are great bloody songs, but for some reason that one just hits really well. Plus Death Mask, like the song off Shit Fun. I don't know, when that chugger sort of riff kicks in, it's tough as hell. My problem with this, and it was pretty much like that live, but I couldn't really hear the solos very well. It was a real shame. You could sort of hear them, but I think I was using the old memory quite a bit, which is not ideal, really. It wasn't also headbanging like a maniac. It might not have helped matters too much, but I'm fairly certain it didn't really sound that amazing, unfortunately, and it still comes through on the video. You can hear the solos a bit better, but it's still not perfect, that's for sure. They end with Dark Crusade as well, which was bloody killer. I don't know, I'd never thought of that song as one that they'd play live much, but it actually features on these quite a bit as well, so yeah. Great bloody song, that's for sure. So yeah, it's good to have that. That's partly why I voted this one as higher, because it's just good to have that, reference for a gig that I was at and loved so much. So you do get a nice little booklet, but honestly, it's mostly just live, grainy, crappy kind of pictures, all from the one gig. I think you get you get a few band photos and then just list of the track listing of it all. So yeah, the MDF one's a whole set. Dead bloody rules on it as well. The song, I love that so much. And you get some old songs that at that point they hadn't written. I don't think there's any new songs on there at all. Like, even though I think they'd done that Tomb Within and also Horrific Obsession as well by then, but maybe not. I mean, it does have Human Genocide, which is a really old demo song that hadn't been recorded properly at that point. The rehearsals, you get just 2 songs off Severed. You get Service for a Vacant Coffin and Charred Remains. They're like reasonably pro shot and actually sound pretty good. They're kind of better. Like, part of the problem with the MDF one is that all you can really hear is Danny, his bass, loud as hell, which is a bit of a shame. The Party Sand stuff's pretty decent quality. I think that's the one where they got like pyro as well. It's on a gigantic stage. I mean, it's a huge festival in Germany, I think. So not surprising, but it just doesn't quite look like it suits them, to tell the truth. Hole in the Sky Festival is, it's kind of shit quality. I don't like the footage of that one much at all, which is a shame because it's got a good batch of songs, and it does actually include Horrific Obsession, one of the newer songs. So that's kind of cool. And then I think the last one is Slaughtered by the Water, which I think that's in America. I can't remember where that is. And yeah, that one's actually got those other ones all had Danny Lilker from Nuclear Assault and SOD and Brutal Truth filling in on bass. Even though I think Joe was in the band then, maybe, but so Joe, who was in like Vaughn originally and then was in Abscess, then was in Autopsy for a couple of albums. So he features on the Slaughter by the Water footage, which is just 3 or 4 songs. There's some extra stuff, which is a couple of promo videos that are a bit average, and then them playing live on some creepy Kofi Movie Time show. I don't know. So it's just a live version of that. So not really that special as far as DVDs go, but because I was at the gig, it kind of makes it that much better. Plus, Stanley Lilker's wearing a Nazul shirt in one of the gigs, so good work, mate. So yeah, I'm very happy to have both of these, to tell the truth. This one I've seen, I think you can get it like in CD-sized one as well. I've actually got 2 versions of this for some weird reason. I think Peaceville just threw one in once when I did an order, so lovely stuff, Autopsy. All right, can't have one of these videos without Metallica, Cliff 'Em All. This is probably my first proper video that I ever bought, I think, this one or old Anthrax one. So, it's from 1988. I probably got it around then, I'd say. This is pretty much a tribute to Cliff Burton, so it's a whole lot of different clips from various gigs, including a heap of stuff of him doing sort of bass solos and stuff. It's not just sort of Anesthesia pulling teeth like 5 times in a row, but some really good ones, actually. Watching this for the first time in like at least 10 years the other day, I was like, I still know all the stupid little intro lines and dumb bits where it's like Lars Ulrich, drums and bongs, and all the amusing stuff that they say, because it does have little interviews with them and so on. So, but it's a really nice tribute to Cliff. They have a few bits of just, photos of him and music in the background, or, there's a bit of him smoking pot, which is pretty funny. And I still think, I wonder if that's like King Diamond sitting in that shot. Maybe. Never really noticed that before, but the gigs themselves, I mean, this one isn't really just one whole gig. This is from a whole lot of different various ones from 83 through to 86. So obviously there's no Jason Newsted on this one, but it's all Cliff. So I'm not sure if it's fan filmed or what, but it's surprisingly good quality in parts, actually. Not all of it's amazing. Some of it's a bit average, you could say. But yeah, it's like, there's another of the sort of prime era capture kind of videos that I really like, that, Metallica, James sounds like old James. He doesn't sound like the, singing, yeah, sort of James that, yeah, I really can't stand, to tell the truth. I do actually have that, I think it's Cunning Stunts as well, video that I don't know if I've ever actually watched. So one day maybe, but I think I'll probably live with just this one, although I suppose I have them on that Big 4 video as well. Yeah. I'll watch Slayer on that one, and that'll probably do me. At any rate, this has got a really good era, batch of songs on it. Creeping Death, Am I Evil, Damage Incorporated, Master of Puppets, Whiplash. The Whiplash one's actually got Dave Mustaine live on it, so very old one. And yeah, he also features in a bit of the interview sort of footage. There's this classic interview with, like, I don't know, radio star or some radio producer or something, and they're all just, that's the one where Lars is like drums and bongs, and then even then Mustaine's confident. He's like, Dave Mustaine, lead guitar, all slick. But the live footage is still pretty killer, actually. They have has a really good transition from Am I Evil to Damage Incorporated as well. It works really well. I always laugh every time. I think it's Seek and Destroys from some festival in, I don't know, I think it's in Germany or something or other, but it's obviously pro shot, but they've got all these really bad, like, special effects on it, like, the screen will sort of, pan to a smaller version of the same screen and be slow-mo or weird colours, and it looks so stupid. Probably one of the better quality live ones is the For Whom the Bell Tolls. I think it was recorded at, I think it's called A Day on the Green, like giant festival in San Francisco, that when you see the crowd, it's friggin' massive. It's and yeah, it has a extra sort of Cliff intro bass bit that's just awesome. The old footage is pretty classic though, because they're still pretty young. I mean, they're confident, but no remorse. James is like swearing and then says, "Oh, I'm not supposed to say fuck." But I think I enjoyed this that much that I think I may have to track the old DVD version of it down. Look at that, bloody ancient. This one has seen a lot of wear. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a bit warped these days. You don't really get much to it. It's like just a slight write up on the back. But yeah, it's just really nice little tribute to Cliff. And it's also a good document of just them back when they're sort of hungry and into it. It's great stuff. All right, next up's one of my favourites, and who would have guessed wearing this shirt? Emperor, with their, Imperial Live Ceremony. So I've got this on video. I've also got the CD version, of course, which is just audio, and DVD. So yeah, this is Emperor on 9 Equilibrium tour in, I don't know, 98 or whenever, 99, sorry. This is recorded in London at the LA2. So yes, friggin' excellent. This is another example of a band in their prime, just captured and put on disc. Bloody awesome. So yeah, this is obviously the 9 Equilibrium tour. So there's a few songs off that. There's nothing off the last album, and yeah, a couple of songs off the first album. So it's mostly anthems and 9 Equilibrium, which is bloody killer. So Hassan's clean vocals on this sound really quite good here, and they sound a bit better than they do on this later one, the Live Inferno one, which is pretty good. Like, it's probably better quality, like filming wise and so on. It's like them at festivals, but yeah, it just lacks something that this has. So yeah, the lineup on this is San and Samoth. Obviously, it's got Trim on drums, Tier on bass, and Charman Grimlock on keys. I always love that name. So ridiculous. But one thing I love on this is the Nightside Eclipse songs. What is it? Satana, I and the Black Wizards are just tough as hell. They're sped up even more by Trim, and the keys just sound epic as hell on it. I think it's with Strength I Burn. Yeah, the fast bit on that gets the kind of reverence film clip, really fast montage of super fast, flashy stuff that works very effectively because the fast bit on With Strength I Burn is just ridiculous. Nearly as good as the reverence fast bit. I would have kind of liked more shots of Trim blasting, but oh well. So it even has a really old song, Night of the Graveless Souls, from demo sort of era, which sounds killer updated. So it's an example of one of those, an old song slightly modernised a bit. That killer main riff it's always a winner, and some good extra grunts and sort of bits. I think there is still backing vocals on this from Tier, I think, but Hassan still does most of it, plus playing like a maniac. So unsurprisingly, it does focus on Hassan a lot, seeing he's the singer, which is kind of fair enough. And lots on Tier, a bit on the drummer, but hardly any of Samoth and Grimlock, who are on the left-hand side of the stage from our view. I don't know, maybe the camera wasn't working over there very well, but there's not that many close-ups until right towards the end, I think. It does end with the In Transiperium, which is, a ridiculously fast song. And it's even faster at the start, but no decent shots of Trim until the end. I don't know. I'm a sucker for watching drummers. I love it. It's just ridiculous, and he's a damn fine drummer. The problem with this is it doesn't have a live version of The Lost and Curse of Reverence, because that's easily one of their best songs and would have been killer. I'm fairly certain I looked up the set list and they played that as well, but it's not on here for some reason. You do get the film clip of that, which is pretty legendary in itself. So that's a good bonus for this. It's the only other feature on here. It's one of the better metal film clips for sure. If I do a video of my favorite ridiculous film clips, that'd definitely be on there. It's got classic spacey evil Emperor Palpatine sort of bits of San with a cloak and with candles as well. Plus, it's got him wearing his spiky armor. I'll try and remember to put a screenshot of it up because it's just looks stupid but awesome, I reckon. I always love that armor. It's crazy stuff. Plus, the film clip itself is just ridiculous. It's got swords, fire, Samoth on a horse, the Northern Lights, chainmail, plus the band pretending to play violins and cellos. Plus, it even has a bit... I'm beginning to wonder if it's the same director that did the classic Immortal Blasphemous sort of film clip, or Mighty Raven Dark, whatever that ridiculous one running down the mountain is. It's not quite that level of amazingness, but has a bit where I think it's just when the fast bit starts, Hassan just holds his BC Rich up high. It's gold. So it's a quality end to a really killer video. But again, perfect snapshot of Emperor just sounding so bloody good. As I said, this Live Inferno one's still worth getting. It does have more songs off Nightside Eclipse on it, I think. I'm not even sure if they don't play all of it on one of them, but so it is damn fine as well, but I don't know, it's just lacking a bit of soul. So this one friggin' rules. Alright, up next is another ancient one that I've had since the dawn of time, Anthrax, with nice fucking video backwards. This legendary, this is absolute classic era, another perfect sort of, time capsule of just the right spot for them. So this is Anthrax on the Among the Living tour. It's only really got songs off Among the Living, and Spreading the Disease. It does have Metal Thrashing Mad from Fistful of Metal, but which is pretty much the only really good song on that one. Not a fan of Fistful, I gotta say. So that legendary set. It's recorded live at the Hammersmith Odeon in 1987. So I was just about to turn 14 when this was done. This this is full board shorts era, and bright stupid clothes, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle guitars, and all sorts of ridiculous stuff. But that's the thing I kind of like about Anthrax. They never took themselves too seriously. They don't pretend to be too tough, other than maybe on that cover of Armed and Dangerous, where they're all leather jackets and look at us on the subway. But considering they're from New York, they probably were kind of tough. But well, they're definitely not very tough on this one. But that's one thing I really like about this, is it really captures the energy that they had back then. It was just running around like maniacs. Frank Bello would have done a few kilometres of running in that clip, that's for sure. Scotty and jumping around everywhere back when he had hair. It's good to see. So yeah, just the energy they have on this is so bloody good. One thing I really like this is they show a heap of shots of the crowd, just young metalheads, much like me as at the time, so it's probably why it stuck so well, that just banging away like maniacs. Strangely, you can't actually see anyone really moshing, but it is sort of tiered upwards kind of setup, so maybe there were seats and everyone's just standing up, I don't know. But yeah, it's you'd think with a band like Anthrax playing the song Caught in a Mosh, there'd be gigantic moshes going on, but I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe the Brits are a bit more. Maybe they're not into that sort of thing. But yeah, it's there are some interviews and hijinks and them being silly on the on the road kind of thing. So they're kind of fun. But yeah, the songs themselves are so good. It's really good seeing the British crowd just go off for I Am the Law, obviously about Judge Dredd, British comics. They love that. They even get a "Here we go" chant going towards the end, which it doesn't take much effort, I don't think, unsurprisingly. I've always loved Indians on this, because it's got the sort of the war dance breakdown-y sort of bit with Joey running around with his headgear on. This does have "I'm the Man" on it, which is not the highlight for sure. I mean, I kind of like that song in some ways, but it's pretty freaking cringe as well, really. It does sort of break up AIR as well, which is a bit of a shame. But one of the funny bits on that is watching it, like Charlie's barely even rapping, because like for that song, I think Joey goes on drums, Danny continues playing guitar, and the three other idiots just sing or rap or whatever. And like Charlie's barely saying anything, but he's like swinging his mic around really far, and I think scones Scott on the head at one point, nearly braining him. So that's amusing to see that bit. I don't think that was staged somehow. So what else? Oh, they finished with Gung Ho, which is a very good closer, that's for sure. Which even has a rare Scott Ian solo on it, or attempted to solo at any rate. There is this I don't know, I've had this version for an eternity. It's got one of those classic gigantic bloody cases for it and everything. So yeah, I would have had this since 88 or somewhere around there, back in my early days of heavy metal. So this one has been watched a stupendous amount of times, that's for sure. I looked it up on Discogs, there is a DVD version of it from about 15 so years ago from British label that looks legit, maybe. I don't know. There's no... this came out on festivals, so this must be the Australian version, but Island Visual Arts, so they used to be on Island Records, so I'm kind of surprised there isn't a whiz-bang reissue. There is a sort of deluxe version of Among the Living, which I think I might try and track that one down, because I think I've got Among the Living on record. I've got it on record, but I think I've got it on CD, but another copy wouldn't hurt if it's got a DVD. Because, I haven't watched this video. I've just watched it on YouTube several times. But, again, this one, as well as my number one, I wrote the review of my number one without even having to watch the video again, because I've seen it that many bloody times. But same with this, pretty much. There was very little I didn't remember, that's for sure. So, another prime sort of era of Anthrax. It does lack, it'd be nice if it had Imitation of Life on it, and there's maybe a couple of songs off Spreading that would have been nice on there, but I'm glad it doesn't have much of, what's the next one? What's that? State of Euphoria. It doesn't have anything off that, thankfully, so, I think they do have another Live Noise, I think it's called, another gig one from a couple of years later, which might be worthwhile. If they had, one with some good Persistence of Time live tracks, I could handle that, but This one, I've watched this live, probably 100 plus times for a reason, because it bloody rules. All right, next up is Katatonia, one of my favourite bands, again. Now, these guys have five. I have 5 DVDs of them, and I just watched them all, so I'm going to talk about them all, tough luck. Some reason they don't have a live one of their, what is it? It's a gig in Bulgaria. I can't remember what it's called, but with an orchestra. I've got like CD version of it or something or other, but for some reason there's no DVD. It's the same venue that Anathema played for their Universal video, which may well be in my next video. So it's like these old Roman ruins there. It's a beautiful setting. The Anathema video is bloody excellent, but for some reason Katatonia is just an audio one. It seems a waste, especially when there's an orchestra there, but anyway. So I'll go through the 5 ones that I have. First up is Black Sessions. This is like a best-of compilation-y kind of thing that also comes with a video of them live in Krakow at our classic Polish venue. Sadly, it's got pretty average sound. The drums are too loud and the vocals are just a bit too quiet for my liking. It does have a really good set list. This is sort of back, probably last Fair. No, what is that one after that? I think it's Viva Emptiness Tour, actually. So it's got the Norman Brothers and Daniel on drums. So it's good to see. It's got a really good set list. It's got, Chrome on there, which I love. It's got I Break, batch of other oldish sort of songs. Dead House, which is rules. So it's really good to see songs off Discouraged One and Tonight's Decision, because it's a bit of a rarity these days. Plus, it's got Murder on it as well from Brave Murder Day. So his vocals obviously are not quite as good as Mikhail from Opeth doing it. So and yeah, you can tell they're a bit damaged because he's just got no sustain at all on the growly bits. I'd say he's not pushing himself, because I think that's what buggered him up in the first place. The only problem with this is the camera work's kind of irritating as well. Like, there's just too many cuts. There's like stupid zooms. There's like attempts at Dutch angles and just too flashy lighting as well. Plus, it seems out of focus half the time. Maybe it's trying to be artistic, but I think it was work experience kids that day doing that one. So it's a bit of a shame, because it's a really good era and good set list. But, I mean, it's still pretty good quality. But the next one is Live Consternation. This one is like a CD and a DVD of the same thing. This is them at Summer Breeze Open Air Festival in 2006. This one's a lot better quality. It's the same lineup, a bit later, obviously. So they've got songs off Great, whatever it's called. Less amateur camera work. It's still a bit wanky in parts. It's got these dodgy black and white bits that just look stupid. It's a bit too fast to cuts and pans as well. But the band seemed a bit more into it. Jonas is banging away like a maniac. So I think it's Had to Leave rules, of course. Ghost of the Sun's really good on this. Just really sort of goes off. I really like the slower Right Into the Bliss as well. Just sounds killer slower. Sadly, no songs off Last Fair Deal gone down on this for some reason, and also not My Twin either, so it's a bit weird. Then we'll jump to the most recent one. This is Dead Air. This one came out in 2020. I think this was streamed live during COVID, so it's just them in like a studio. It's not them just on a stage. It's kind of like done up, so there's little booths for each person with lighting, and I don't know. It's a bit wanky, really. It's so it's recorded live in a studio. It's the first gig with drummer Mojo playing, or first recorded gig with him, and also the now departed lead guitarist Roger. And yeah, his solos sound killer on this. I'm really glad that it opens with Lethian, because I always love that solo in that. This actually sounds pretty good, but I mean, it should do. It's in a bloody studio, so it should sound friggin' killer. So it is nice to hear live versions of the newer songs on here. This is obviously before the most recent album, but I think Dead End Kings maybe was the one before this. So it does have, pretty damn recent songs. It's a pretty reasonable range of stuff. I don't think it really does go back to Last Fair Deal, but nothing before that. Heavy bits sound a bit weird at times. I don't know if Roger or Anders have the wrong distortion or something. It just sounds odd at times. And I still really don't like that weird effect that Anders uses on leaders. Like, it's this weird phaser, or I don't know what the hell it is. yeah, I don't like it. Last time I saw him when he wasn't there, I think he was on backing tape. It was the proper version. I like that. That sounded great. So yeah, it's kind of weird. Like I think I can't remember what song it is. It's a song where the chorus is, it's got the line "fucking lie" in it, and usually he'll leave that for the crowd to sing it. Bit, and he does it on this, even though there's no crowd because it's in his studio. It's kind of amusing. And yeah, the "hold my breath" bit in Evidence sounds kind of weird. I don't know if it drops out intentionally or I don't know. There's this bit that suddenly there's nothing for like half a second. It's odd. So yeah, it's them in a studio. Like camera work's pretty basic, nothing really fancy. I'll stick with the CD. Thanks. That's the one and only time I watched that live one. It's like, it's all right. Now we get to the much better sort of last two ones that they've got. These ones both friggin' excellent. First one is Sanctitude. This is from 2014. This is the only Blu-ray, the one that I've got. I don't know why this one's only a DVD when it's like 6 years later than this. Anyway, I'm glad this one's on Blu-ray because this is excellent quality. This is Sanctitude. This is recorded in Union Chapel in London. It's like a big church sort of, or cathedral-y kind of thing. This is an acoustic set, essentially. So there's no full drum kit. I'd hardly watch this for some reason, even though I'm pretty sure I got it on record as well for some reason. So yeah, I think I'll watch this more often because this is bloody excellent. So it's mostly acoustic. Jonas does have an electric guitar for sort of lead work, but there's no like distortion or anything horrible. And there are keyboards as well in parts. I think some of them are pre-recorded, but some are live by Bruce, who was filling in on guitar with him for a while. So it is a weird sort of lineup. What was the drummer's name? The drummer, I think, was only on... He might have been on one of their albums, but... Yeah, anyway. Strange drummer. The percussion's kind of weird. It's either a little shaker kind of thing, or it's like a hand drum thing. I don't know. Like, sounds pretty cool, actually, in parts. And it gets that sort of slight bongo sort of feel. Sounds like it shouldn't work, but it does actually. So yeah, this is really great sound on this, really good filming as well. Would have liked a bit more crowd reaction shots, but I mean, everyone's seated, so they're not exactly dancing, getting into it. And it does show them occasionally, and those bits are cool, so I just wish there were more. So they do some interesting ones. There's no, like, they're not doing bloody murder or anything on here, or any of the super heavy, there's no Forsaker on here. But it does have ones. It has Day from Brave Murder Day, which I'd forgotten that was on here and was like, oh, sweet. So that sounds really good. Darkness Coming is another one I don't think they usually play on normal gigs as well. They do Gone on this. Like, I think they say it's the first time they've had Gone in their set list. It's from Discouraged Ones. So, and plus it's got Unfurl, which is another sort of B-side kind of one that... killer bloody song. So yeah, and I'm kind of surprised how good this sounds on their the more rocking sort of songs like Evidence sounds pretty great on this. I mean, again, this doesn't have Ghosts of the Sun on it anyway. They do finish with the One You're Looking For Is Not Here, which is one of the newer songs, and actually get the can't remember her name from The Gathering as the guest vocalist on the album version, and they drag her up for this as well. So it was really nicely done. It's really bloody good. So, and plus you also get like a doco film which goes for 66 minutes, which is essentially an interview with Anders and Jonas, the two main dudes of the band, and really frank questions and answers as well. So it's a lot of, not quite a full history of the band, but a lot of probing sort of deep kind of questions. So it's definitely well worth watching. So this one, yeah, very happy with this. But the winner for me, I think, is this one. This is Last Fair Day Gone Night. So this is a live gig from 2011 that they did, also in London, I'm thinking. Yeah, Coco in London. So this is actually two sets essentially. First one is just the Last Fair Deal Gone Down in its entirety played live. So yeah, it's just every song off that. So it's really nice to see, Dispossession. I mean, I love Chrome. It's one of my favourite songs. So it's great to see that. I mean, Tear Gas, they play most gigs, but yeah, all of them are bloody nice. So I don't know. I thought the other day about doing a Katatonia ranking video, but I'm really not sure if I can rank a number one for them. There's about 3 or 4 albums that are number one for Katatonia for me, so yeah, it might be a bit hard to do a ranking one of them. But the second disc is the same gig, so this is the Night is the New Day sort of lineup. So it's got like the current bass player Nicholas and Sodomizer on it, and I'm guessing it's still Daniel. Yeah, like the drummer. So a good sort of era, because Sodomizer's a damn good guitarist, and I didn't realise he left a couple of albums ago, but he's in Ghost now, I think, as their live guitarist. So didn't realise that. But the B-side has plenty of their usual sort of songs, but I think it's there are keys that they use on it, and some of them sound a bit weird on the older songs, I've got to say, because they didn't normally have them, or they're redone or something. And amusingly, they're not quite in time, I think, at the start of Right Into the Bliss, but it has some excellent other songs. It starts with Brave, which is like super stoked to have that. That's partly why this is such a winner. And yeah, it's got a heap of songs off Day Is the New Night as well, but Longest Years, really nice. But yeah, it's also got I Break, Dissolving Bonds, which is pretty cool, July, a lot of cool songs. I'm a bit disappointed that, seeing they were doing like weird B-sides and stuff, they didn't do Displaced. I've never seen them. I don't know if they ever played Displaced live. It was like off the My Twin single. It's just a B-side that I just really like that song, and kind of spewing that it's not on a proper album and they don't appear to play it live, but I've got the CD, so that'll do. So yeah, the Night Is a New Day songs sound bloody nice on this as well, so it's a winner overall. Like, the filming quality is great, nothing dodgy, flashy, stupid or anything. It's really good quality sound, so it's probably the highlight quality wise. But you also get a full bloody documentary film on the other bit. It's like an hour and a half or something. I was watching it late the other night, and it's like, oh shit, it's like 12:45. I got to work tomorrow morning, but I got to keep watching. Really interesting documentary of the whole history. Well, the whole history of the band up to 2011 at any rate, because it's when they made it. So it's mostly interviews. It's just audio, actually. It doesn't have their pictures. Oh, it has a lot of photo collages and stuff. A bit of live footage, I think, but mostly photos. And it's just interviews with Jonas and Anders, the two main dudes, all the way back to the very early days. Some cool questions about that. And then Daniel, once he joins, he's interviewed as well, and it's an amusing chap. Has a lot of footage of them, like party animal sort of stuff off, not on stage sort of stuff. They went hard. I think they're probably all, I just think what their livers are like. They don't mind a drink, I think. There's a lot of Scandinavian bands that want to do. So it's pretty bloody warts and all, the doco. It really does show how often they kind of stuffed things up and got in their own way, as far as, not booking gigs properly or playing a gig when they're just hungover as buggery sort of thing, and just how slack and unorganised they were, really. So it's kind of good at the end when they're getting their shit together and they get a manager, and by the end they had toured Australia and a batch of other places. It's really good, actually, seeing them talking about Mexico for the first time. I think they did a US tour that was a bit average, but then they went to Mexico for a couple of dates and they were just like treated like gods sort of thing. So I think I've seen other bands say similar things. The Mexican fans are keen, that's for sure. It's good to see. So yeah, I mean, honestly, this is worth it for the doco alone, let alone the live gig. So in this one, you actually get a booklet. It's just got sort of wanky art and not very much writing, just Travis Smith's very dark art. So this one was the winner for sure. So this is Last Fair Day Gone Night. For some reason, I'm pretty sure I got this on record as well, as a tragic collector scum that I am. But yeah, this is the DVD you want, I reckon, unless you want the acoustic one, and then this is the one you want, because this is bloody good as well. So yeah, I love Katatonia so much. But yeah, after watching 5 DVDs in a row, I could probably not listen to them for a while. I think I just had about 4 or 5 songs constantly swirling around in my head while I was trying to sleep. But anyway, not a bad thing. All right, up next is Mighty Slayer. Now, Slayer, I could pick this one, Ultimate Revenge. This is the them live at like Studio 54 back in the Show No Mercy sort of era, or probably Haunting the Chapel era by then. So this is live with Exodus and Venom. Well, I'm pretty sure the Venom set's from like England for some reason, but this is pretty legendary. I'll give you that. I love the in between the interviews with them where they're rambling on about being influenced by Bach and throwing meat at each other. So this is legendary stuff. There is also War at the Warfield, which I can't even think of the last time I watched this. Just bog standard live one with too many newer songs on it. I apparently own this one. I don't even remember this one. This is a live one that also has like Lamb of God, Mastodon, Children of Bodom, and oh God, I can't even read that other band name. Oh, Thine Eyes Bleed. A band I don't know and probably don't want to know. So yeah, I don't know why I've got this, but anyway, I swear I own the Still Raining one as well, I think, which is like them doing Rain and Blood. So probably on a tour that I saw them actually at Luna Park in Sydney, which was a killer gig. So, but what I am going with is Live Intrusion. So this is my ancient old video version of it. Oh, let's see if it still opens. So, yeah, this one is obviously. Well, I've got it on this as well. What the hell? This is them on the Divine Intervention tour. So it's Paul Bostaff drumming for them and just the usual three other guys. So this is bloody good quality. I love this. This video starts with the carving, the bloke getting Slayer carved into his forearm, and then they light it on fire with rubbing alcohol. It's like, class. That's how you start a video. So it's just a live gig of them in like Arizona or something or other in 95, it looks like. So pretty standard, but it's really well filmed. I'm pretty sure was people that usually film the NFL. I think I remember reading an interview where they were just scared shitless. They're used to filming, footy players running into each other, not like Slayer fans trying to kill each other. So there's some really good inventive sort of stuff in this. There's like a mosh pit cam briefly that really does not last very long, I don't think. I think you see it later on maybe, so maybe they braved it briefly and went, oh, that's too scary. There's like a really good overhead, like straight down kind of shot of like the mosh pit, which is a sorely underutilized shot, I reckon. It looks really cool. So yeah, heaps of crowd shots. It really adds to the energy of it. I love seeing the crowd getting into it as well. Like too many of these videos are just like show the band and that's it. And it's like, yeah, there's people there as well. You can show them. So yeah, on this, the quality is really quite good. Tom sounds a bit hoarse at times, I've got to say, but I'm pretty sure this is the last show of the tour, so he's probably a bit weary. The set list is bloody awesome. It's got a Dawn They Sleep, so I'm always going to be happy. It's also got Captor of Sin, which rules. Hell Awaits. A lot of the classics. The downside is it has a few too many Divine Intervention songs. That I still like that album, but yeah, not as much as the predecessors. And it only has one song off Seasons in the Abyss, which is like War Ensemble, which I could probably live without seeing War Ensemble again. Irritatingly, looking at the setlist.fm, looking at the actual proper set list of this, they did also play Dead Skin Mask, Seasons in the Abyss, and Spirit in Black, which aren't on this video or some reason, so I'm guessing maybe they just ran out of time, who knows, maybe the quality was shit, but there's absolutely nothing off Show No Mercy on this, which is a bit of a travesty. I mean, there are 2 songs off Haunting the Chapel, so it's not the end of the world, but still. But yeah, this one's kind of special because this is when I first saw him on this tour as well, like twice. I saw him at Wollongong, at Waves, and then I don't think it was the next night, maybe the night after that in Sydney as well. I think there was the Wollongong one was legendary for, I think it was one of the Aussie bands' mates jumped on stage during Biohazard and took a shit on stage or something stupid like that and didn't win any favours. So it was somewhat legendary. I still remember going to that gig and them having all these like, epilepsy warnings on the door before you get in there because the light show was really intense and it was pretty good. I always found it amusing that every time I saw Slayer afterwards, their light show got smaller and smaller. I think they just realised, we're Slayer, we don't need spiffy light show. Crowd are going to go berserk no matter what. You play in the dark and they'd go berserk. So, yeah, I always found that kind of amusing. But this, back to this. This also has lots of, not lots, but bits of, behind the scenesy kind of footage. Has them going to a record signing in, I think it's LA somewhere, which is pretty hilarious. You get to see, the usual idiots in the crowd yelling Slayer and everything, and see some poor bugger get arrested for being a little too eager. Just looking at him, and there's sort of a bit where they're like Slayer walking up there. I think one of them, I assume it's Kerry, is singing like Mr. Bungle lyrics for some reason. Then there's a bit of them on like the tour bus singing "Always Look on the Bright Side of Life," and then in true Slayer bad taste fashion, flashes to a quick collage of like obviously concentration camps that they've visited or whatever, and then it's followed by mandatory suicide and Angel of Death. So, yeah, pushing the boundaries as per usual. This does end with it ends with Chemical Warfare, which is pretty cool. But before that, they play Witching Hour, like the Venom song, and they get Machine Head dudes out who are obviously on the tour with them to play. So it's got Rob Flynn playing guitar and doing half the vocals with Tom, and it sounds bloody killer because it's like way faster than the Venom version, thrashed up, something fierce, sounds just tough as hell. But the highlight for me is Chris Kontos, the Machine Head drummer at the time. He just jumps on Bostaff's kit and plays, and it sounds so much better than Bostaff playing. I think Chris is a hard hitter. It just sounds tough as booming as hell. It's great. So yeah, this is legendary stuff. And the only thing I'll say a shame of, I mean, it is nice that we do have Ultimate Revenge because it's like, ancient old footage, but there's no in between. There's no live gig from Rain and Blood or South of Heaven or even Seasons in the Abyss. That said, I mean, there's obviously Decade of Aggression, which is live audio, and I swear I've seen a bit of footage from that tour at least, because there used to be a clip that I think I saw it when I was in America on like MTV. I think it was like Black Magic and maybe War Ensemble as well. It was like two songs back to back or, together. And it was obviously footage from around that time. And it was, I assume, with Lombardo, I'm guessing. So I'm wondering if there's a whole gig out there that hasn't been released. I don't know. The only other Slayer video I've got is also that, I should have got it down there, Soundtrack to the Apocalypse, giant stupid box set thing that I've got. It's got a DVD in it which has got lots of really, I mean, they're all just individual clips from different gigs and so on. It has some really ancient stuff of them, pre-Show No Mercy sort of era, plus bits and pieces of other ones. I think it's got like Gemini Live and some later ones, but it's not a full gig, unfortunately. I was kind of hoping that there is another whole live gig on there, but it's just a CD one. So hoping one day we might get some more old Slayer, but I mean, surely there's some reasonably professionally filmed stuff out there. Maybe I should just watch YouTube. There's probably heaps of stuff, but Live Intrusion, this just rules. It's perfect editing, perfect live quality sound, band on fine form. Kerry's going off, like banging away like a maniac. So yeah, it's great. All right, another legendary one that of course has to be on the list. Live After Death, Iron Maiden. I didn't actually have, obviously didn't have the DVD back in 1985 or whenever this came out. I had the record though, so it was one of my very first metal releases after getting some Twisted Sister stuff as well. So yeah, I know this so bloody well, but strangely, yeah, I did only ever have a dubbed video of this. I never had the proper original video of it. This DVD is from, God knows, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago or something. For some reason, this doesn't seem to be on Blu-ray, which is a bit of a shame, but oh well. This is kind of weird. Like, this is not exactly the same versions as the ones off Live After Death, like the record version. The record one uses songs from like the four nights they did at Long Beach Arena. Scream for me. And so, I'm fairly certain I remember reading, all the Iron Maiden nerds talking about it. I think most of the LP version is the fourth night when they sound really good, whereas this is, I think, the second night I think he mentions in it. But then I did see someone mentioning this is like 2 different nights, or I don't know. At any rate, this sounds a bit shitter. I did wonder if it was about overdubs, but then I was reading the Iron Maiden and like, oh no overdubs, we hate overdubs. So, and yeah, this is definitely, I don't think this has overdubs because it's a shit job if they did. Bruce, yeah, doesn't sound as good as on the LP version on this at all. He sounds really short of breath at the start of Ace's High, which is like the first song, which is a worry. I mean, he improves, that's for sure. I mean, it still sounds bloody great. And I mean, he's running around like a maniac for most of it anyway, so I'm surprised he can sing at all, to tell the truth. I actually forgot that he plays guitar as well on Revelations. And I never realised until recently that how much he actually wrote, like the whole song. He wrote all of Revelations and Power Slave as well, which I didn't realise. Which, holy crap, good work, Bruce. I just assumed Steve wrote the vast majority of it, and I think he still does, but still. So this doesn't have, as far as compared to the LP one, it doesn't have all the Hammersmith tracks, which is like side D, or the fourth sort of side, which has Wrathchild and all those sort of ones on it. But this does have Sanctuary, which for some reason isn't on the original LP version. Maybe they ran out of space, but it's like the last song that they do on it. So, and you can definitely tell it's different because the in-between song banter is different as well. I mean, I've listened to the record that many times. I know every single little stupid bit. It still has a motherfucker bit at the in-between. I think at the start of The Flight of Icarus, so maybe that's the same version of that, I don't know, but yeah, the looseness of, I think it's Ryman the Ancient Mariner on this, he's like rambling for ages about drugs or something or other. It's totally different than the LP version, which is just, and I kind of prefer the concise LP one of, this is what not to do if a bird shits on you, which fits so perfectly with the storyline. And yeah, it's so good watching them live because they're running around like maniacs. I mean, half of them are at any rate. Bruce and Steve are running around like maniacs. The other guys just wander around, the two guitarists. And yeah, I love watching Steve's fingers, especially on Prime the Ancient Mariner. He's a maniac, that guy. And Nico's kit is just ginormous. This is like never-ending toms. It's so stupid. I'm sure he only uses about a third of it. For some reason, actually, I hadn't watched this for ages. I watched it when I bought this DVD years ago, but for some reason I thought there was more stage wacky stuff going on stage. There still is. Power Slave's got some flames and Bruce running around in some weird bird mask, and of course a giant sort of mummy Eddie chasing him around on stage. And I mean, the song Iron Maiden has the classic, kind of the waves part, and this giant mummy Eddie sort of comes out. And then it's so beautiful. I mean, it is quite that sort of we inflate you, our half-inflated Dark Lord sort of Simpsons style, but it works so at least. But I always love that Steve Harris has got his perfectly timed bit of what is it? I think it is on Iron Maiden. Just a bit. He sort of gets up on the drum riser and does a big splits kind of jump just at the right time when the fireworks shoot out of Eddie's eyes, at the classic sort of bit, which of course there's a ton of photos I noticed on the LP of that scene. It's awesome. But I do love the live versions on this. I mean, I've always loved the live version of Hallowed Be Thy Name. It's just so much punchier than the live one when it kicks in. And my problem is as well is that I got Live After Death first before I even had any of their other albums. I mean, I got the other albums reasonably rapidly after, but I'm still used to the live versions more so than the album version. So I think Power Slave, the song, sounds better on the album version because there's all keyboards and wacky shit going on in the background, choiry sort of vocals. But yeah, songs like Hallowed Be Thy Name are just so good live. Same with Revelations, I think, is a bit better. I could probably do without the 5 minutes of in the middle of Running Free where they're doing the whole, play. Nico just plays the same beat the whole time, and Steve does some bass bits, and Bruce G's up the crowd with, that side scream for me. It just goes on. That's ridiculous. I could see why they cut that out of the LP version. I think they have a much shorter version of that. This does also come with it. So yeah, the Live After Death gig, untouchable. beautifully filmed, great sound quality, everything's killer. You do also get some other stuff. You get like a history of Iron Maiden kind of bit, which I'm beginning to wonder if I even watched that. I don't know if I did. But you also get like Rock in Rio 85, which is kind of shit quality to tell the truth. Like, I mean, it's pretty much the same songs as well as that, just crapper sound. All you can hear really is Bruce. It's a bit loud. I mean, it's good to see. It's interesting. The really good one on here is Behind the Iron Curtain, which is sort of, I don't know, about an hour long doco of them cruising around, Eastern Europe, sort of behind the Iron Curtain back in the USSR sort of days. So yeah, it's just great footage of the fans just keen as hell, like stalking them almost. The sound quality could be better at times, but it shows differing gigs of there. But there's this classic bit where they're at some nightclub or pub or something or other after the show, just hobnobbing with the locals, and there's this beautiful Euro trashy kind of dude who's like talking to Bruce. He's saying, I want to do the heavy metal, but with synthesizers or something or other. And Bruce is like, synthesizers aren't metal or something. It's a beautiful little bit. It also has shows them playing like Smoke on the Water at a Polish wedding for some weird reason, and playing football with, other musos or crew or something or other. So yeah, as I said, I don't know if I have watched the history of Iron Maiden one. It's like 60 minutes of bloody doco. Jesus. I don't think I did. Oh, I'll get to that eventually. So yeah, I have another couple of ones. I think I've got, what have I got? I've got like Legacy of the Beast or something. I think it's just like film clips, maybe a bit of live stuff. So I'm curious what other people think I should check out for Maiden. I've never had 12 Wasted Years. That looks kind of interesting with a, slightly older, cool set list. I was reading up on Raising Hell, I think it is like them with a stage magician or something weird. So, I mean, Iron Maiden is one of the few bands like Metallica that are still putting out live videos and so on. So, yeah, feel free to bung your suggestion in the comments below, because, yeah, I'm happy to get more Maiden. I mean, the only problem really with this is it doesn't have any, Somewhere in Time songs or Seventh Son songs on it, but which would make it slightly better. But other than that, it's freaking killer. So, yeah. There's no way this wasn't going to be in this. Good old Maiden. All right, and finally, my favourite live DVD is Napalm Death with, it's called the DVD here, but originally it was called Live Corruption, the video that came out. It came out on VHS and Laserdisc, apparently. I'd love one of those. Not that I have a Laserdisc player, but I'm always tempted to get the VHS, but I know I'd never play it, but just to have it, maybe collector scum. So yeah, this DVD is freaking killer though. It's got the main gig, which is live at the Salisbury Arts Centre in 30th of June 1990. So just before Harmony Corruption came out, I think. It also has video clips. Another gig as well from Nottingham Rock City on Grind Crusher Tour in '89, plus a whole 2 songs of the original earlier lineup, Dorian Steer era, which is painfully short. But anyway, the main gig itself I've watched a million times. As I said, I don't have the proper VHS of it, but I had a dub of it for a long time. I've seen it that many bloody times. It's ridiculous. I also have this on CD. This I think this is actually out of a box set. I think they reissued it on maybe on 12-inch as well, I think. But so yeah, this is just an audio version of this gig. I listen to this all the time. I actually don't really listen to Harmony Corruption much. I just listen to this because it just sounds so much bloody better. So yeah, this is Harmony lineup era with, Jesse and Mitch on guitar and, Shane obviously and Barney on vocals and Mick Harris on drums still. So classic lineup. Again, another perfect, capsule of them at their peak pretty much. It would have been slightly better if they had Mass Appeal Madness stuff on here as well, but what are you going to do? So yeah, just sounds ridiculously good, but one of the things that I love so much about it is the filming quality. There's cameras everywhere, heaps of crowd shots, stage dive, and the band's going galore. But just the camera work is really dynamic, really captures the band, really getting into it, and lots of shots of Mick just being a crazy maniac on the drums. This is beautiful stuff. It just captures their intensity so perfectly. Really good editing as well. There's lots of cuts, but not badly done. There's a few wanky black and white bits that you could probably do without, but what are you going to do? But yeah, the Mick blasting up a storm and crazy faces is just worth the price of admission alone. It's beautiful. So it does have a really good selection of songs off Scum, From Its Laven, and Harmony Corruption. It does have quite a bit off Mentally Murdered as well, which I very much appreciate. But some of the songs are slightly different to the newer ones, like If the Truth Be Known, and for some reason they've dropped the solo that's on the album version. So it's just catchier, shorter song, but it's always been one of my favourites, and on here it's just supreme, so bloody good. That sort of riff when it kicks in, like the breakdown bit, so good, and Mick just getting into the drumming so much. It's beautiful stuff. So it's obviously Barney singing, and he sounds so bloody good on this. He's I think he's got quite a bit of delay on his vocals possibly, but just sounds monstrous on it, especially on stuff like Unchallenged Hate, like the start bit of that, so good. Plus there's a heap of him doing, the let's everybody skank or let's everybody thrash. Plus he's not dancing like a maniac like he does these days, which is kind of a bonus. There's some good sort of crowd heckling, and it's interesting actually that the live CD doesn't have a couple of the songs towards the end. I'm assuming they ran out of space, but it does have this long intro of like the crowd chanting for him, and then someone taking the piss out of them over the intercom and so on. But yeah, they get a "you fat bastards" chant going up, and Barney fires back. I assume talking about Shane, he says, "He already knows." But it also has like little snippets of them being interviewed out the front of a church somewhere or cathedral sort of thing, which is, interesting little interviewy sort of snippet bits, but it shows Barney, they're talking about his vocals, and he just does what they say is a Camley vocal wipeout. He's just standing there, people wandering around, he's just like, "Rah!" It's and of course it's just Mick being crazy Mick with his weird jargon and jumping around like a crazy man, but it's beautiful. And his performance on this is, it's pretty decent as far as him goes. He's never quite the tightest of drummers, but I reckon he's good. I don't know, I'm not a drummer, but he sounds pretty cool. But I'm not usually, I really kind of hate it when drummers stand up all the time, and he doesn't all that often, and like usually it pisses me off, but he does on like Success, but it is on a cool sort of, and I love that song, so I'm not too worried. So yeah, but one of the things that always amuses me on this is that actually has like Jesse and Mitch are both wearing shirts of their previous bands. Jesse's got a Righteous Pig shirt on, and Mitch has got a Terrorizer shirt. And I always wondered, like Barney's got a shirt with Scum written on it, which I always thought, is that some weird old Napalm shirt that I've never seen before? But I've seen other people wearing it as well, and yeah, I realised it's a club in the Netherlands. So obviously, all the various bands played there, they didn't have random weird Napalm Scum shirts. So yeah, now you know. I love that baseball bat and Barney with his bloody bangs. So yeah, the other one. So the main video is just priceless, so bloody good. Really good versions of all those songs, and again, it's sort of Barney versions of those songs, so they do sound a bit different. Like Siege of Power's the rewritten kind of version that they did. So it ends with Deceiver, so you can't go wrong. Now the other gig is a year beforehand, and it's actually before Mitch had joined the band. I think you could see him on stage, side stage getting into it, but it's just Jesse on guitar, but the rest of the lineup's Barney, Mick and Shane. And yeah, it's on the Grind Crusher tour. It's the same one that I think there's Bolt Thrower and Morbid Angel, and that Carcass one from. So it's pretty good quality. I haven't watched it for a while, but the most hilarious bit is the start, where they start. What do they start with? Rise Above, I think. But I think they got a little intro bit, and like Barney's got his back to the crowd, and then as soon as the song starts, as soon as when he starts singing, he just like spin around and action start singing. It's so corny. It's beautiful. So yeah, that video is bloody good quality as well. Not quite as good as the other one. So I mean, it's worth it for Live Corruption alone, let alone that extra one. The BBC Live in London one with the Dorian Steer, like, you know, the old From Enslavement lineup, has got the song, well, it's got You Suffer as one of the songs, so it's a bit of a waste of time, but it's got Scum as well, which it's really good to see Dorian do the version of Scum. So, but it's just painful. It's like, how much of this is out there? I have an old, well, I assume I have it somewhere. I used to have a mixed video tape of, you know, all different clips and stuff. And there was one of, I don't know if it was Cock Rock Alienation or if it was like Lucid Fairy Tale. It was a song from, you know, first two albums from exactly the same recording. So I'd hope there's a whole gig out there somewhere of it. Again, maybe I should check YouTube, but there is some damn fine old footage of Dorian Steer era sort of stuff. I've got like an old bodgy video somewhere of him, but God, I haven't watched that for a while. But yeah, it's a waste that there's only 2 songs on this, and one of which is You Suffer, so it's like a second long. Now this does also have promo clips of Mass Appeal Madness ones are alright. Then it's got stuff for the children's kind of shit. It does have Greed Killing, which is one of my most hated Napalm songs, and made even worse by the real wanky film clip. So that one does not get watched. I don't remember World Keeps Turning, or Plague Rages, or Bred to Breathe. Might have to watch those again. The other Napalm one I've got is Punishment in Capitals, which is a couple of albums later. I seem to recall Barney sounds like shit on this. I haven't watched this in ages, so yeah, doesn't have any extra amazing songs that aren't already on that. So it does have Nazi Pugs, Fuck Off, and Back from the Dead. Okay, maybe I will watch this one. But yeah, this one, untouchable. I've watched this a million times for a reason, because it's just that bloody good. It's just so yeah, pretty much my 2 Napalm go-tos for listening to are not albums or anything. It's this and the Peel sessions of the Dorian Steer era. That's the 2 most common Napalm listens that I go to, really. So, but yeah, this very worth getting. This is legendary. All right, I was going to do some honourable mentions, but because I'm going to do another one of these videos, I'll save some of the better ones for that one. But I will mention Dead Can Dance, because they're not a metal band, but I love their Towards the Within DVD, which I would be holding up if I could find it. I have a bad feeling I lent it to someone and haven't seen it since. So if you have my Dead Can Dance DVD, please give it back. Maybe I'll just buy it again, I think. But yeah, it's a gig from them on the Into the Labyrinth tour. Amazing quality. It's Lisa's just incredible sound on it. It has the live version of Kantara on that. It's just one of the greatest live gigs ever, I reckon. So yeah, that is well worth it. I'll have a picture of it up, of course, but so it's a shame I don't have that one, because I'd love to have that. So I won't do any other honourable mentions, because I'll just put them in the next video. One that I was debating about putting in this is, and it didn't really make it when I finally watched it again, was well, you can't really see it. It's Entombed Monkey Pass. This is just one of those dual discs that Earache put out. So one side is, actually no, it's a separate DVD. Sorry, I tell a lie. So yeah, this is Entombed live in London in '92. It's the same gig as that Carcass Necroticism sort of one. So, but for some reason, not as good quality as that. I don't know, maybe they didn't get as good a sound. Plus, LG had just rejoined the band, and he doesn't sound great on it, really. It's a shame, actually, because music's killer, obviously, but the the guitarists and stuff still sound pretty good, except for the fact that I think it's Uffy's guitar cuts out multiple times, and for half of like the Truth Beyond. Plus, there's no Supposed to Rot or Bitter Loss, so yeah, that's a shame. One of the amusing parts of it is that I think it's Uffy, one of his guitars has got "Fuck Derek Kemp" written on it. I'm like, who the hell's Derek Kemp? So Googled him, had a look. Appeared to be the booking agent for the Agency Group, who manage a whole lot of bands. So I'm guessing Entombed got dicked around a bit by him. So that one didn't quite make the grade, unfortunately. And the other one that I was thinking, I thought was a shoe-in, really, to tell the truth, but I hadn't watched it for ages, was Arcturus with their Shipwrecked in Oslo DVD in a fancy metal tin. So I love Arcturus. This is obviously not with Garm. This is with Vortex singing for them. So it's from 2005, so they'd already put out the, I don't know, whatever the first album with Vortex on it is. So it does have a lot of songs off that, but I don't know, I'm not sure if it's because I don't have 5.1 sound on my stereo or like on my telly. It just sounded like shit on my television, even at really high volume, at like 3/4 volume. It's still, you couldn't hear the vocals. So I think it's probably my equipment's not good enough sort of side of things. It was irritating as well watching it. I forgot how much stuff is like overlaid. They have like a symbol like just hovering in the middle of the screen for like while the band's on there. It's like, what are you doing? And I remembered, I think it's the song The Chaos Path, which is, I mean, Arcturus music's pretty crazy in the first place, but The Chaos Path is extra crazy. And I did remember that they had all like these, like weird circusy kind of people get on stage for that song, and there's like a procession of them on stage. But rewatching it, I was like, this is just kind of embarrassing. They're just like standing around and just, someone dressed up in like a furry white dog outfit getting like sexually abused or something. And it's like, what is going on here? So, and plus I kind of realised how much I miss Garm on vocals on his tracks. I mean, the Vortex songs from the later album sound good because that's what they're supposed to sound like. And he's got an amazing voice. I love his voice, but Garm's also got an amazing voice. And on the older tracks, it just sounds kind of weird. So that's another thing I'd do with the Time Machine. And I'm not even sure how much Arcturus played live. I think they might have played in the real early days a bit. Or maybe I'm getting them mixed up with Ulva now. Oh, I don't know. I don't think Garm played live much with Arcturus, if at all. So that would have been amazing because his vocals especially on Sham Mirrors, just amazing. One of my favourite performances of his. So this was underwhelming on rewatch. Let's just put it that way. I mean, I still love the band, love their albums, but yeah, it just didn't really do it for me. So, but anyway, there's a few videos that I'd wish had existed but didn't. It's a real shame. Like, again, like Arcturus with Garm singing. There's no really good typo negative ones. I seem to recall there is one right towards the end of their career, and Pete kind of doesn't sound all that flash. And it's like a festival or something. I thought I owned that video, but maybe not. So typo on like, Bloody Kisses or October Rust Tour or even earlier would be bloody gold to find. I have seen a bit on YouTube, and yeah, I've had many an American friend tell me, oh yeah, when I've said, oh gee, I wish I saw Typo Negative, and they're like, oh, it's one of the best bands I ever saw. I was like, yeah, thanks. And the only other one I'll mention is Megadeth. Like, appears to be a deluxe piece sells that has like some live footage or something, but I don't know how pro shot it would be. It just seems a waste. Like, I don't know if there's a pro shot video from, even like Rust in Peace, let alone earlier. Like, imagine a piece sells pro shot video would be pretty bloody nice. So yeah, I'm hoping I'm wrong there. And again, feel free to leave comments below on suggesting what to watch, because there's probably plenty I've missed, I'd say. One thing I'll admit to, I don't own any Pantera videos or DVDs or anything like that, and I kind of want to. I'm not a giant fan of their music, but I've heard pretty amusing things about the, backstage shenanigans. I'm pretty sure their home videos are just them drinking and God knows what, getting up to shenanigans. So yeah, there's a couple that I kind of want to get as well, and one that'll probably be in my next one, and that I've really got to try and track down a proper copy of is DRI Live at the Ritz. I think it was probably Crossover Tour or something, and yeah, it's killer bloody gig. I remember seeing it many years ago. I think my old flatmate Andy maybe he's actually got it, or he had a dub of it or something or other, but legendary sort of gig. So there's a few I might try and track down, but I think in the next video I've still got enough other ones that are got to get around to watching or rewatching again for the first time in ages. Yeah, we'll get some more going, I hope. So, but anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this little wander down video lane. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Cheers.